Well, hello everybody. It's Dr. Hank, and how are you? Welcome to Agent Wealth Success. And you know what we do here? We help agents and brokers around the world in order to help them to build their business, more specifically in the United States. And every week I have a top broker, agent, trainer, whatever. And today I have what I would call a rock star of global. And for global to have that, but also he's helps with sports stars. So he's out in LA, and please welcome Colin Jacobs. And Colin, welcome. You're with ReMax in LA, and graduate from Brown University, a smart guy, and you have some just amazing information to share with us. And I look forward to hearing all about that. So how are you doing? What's going on with you?
Dr. Hank, you're the best introducer of anyone I've ever met. So thank you for making that really smooth introduction. And I'm very humbled to be here with you. So thank you.
Well, fantastic. Your background, again, for those of you that don't know Brown University, it's a Ivy League university. You're a graduate from there. And I believe you were in engineering. Is that correct originally?
Yeah, so it was a combination between fine art and computer science, and actually ended up working for Star Wars out of school. I didn't even think I was going to get into real estate, but it just so happens I stumbled on the industry. I have an architecture background and all that stuff, but I can get into that with you later.
Yeah, that's great. That's just amazing. So, we're always looking for ways in order to help our agents and brokers, and where your real niche is, or one of the niches is with your global experience, and you manage a huge office as well. And so I'd like to ask you a few questions, because you're real good with systems and mentoring people. And so let's start with on mentoring, that when you look at mentoring, your team, an individual, whatever, what are some things that are really helpful, and how could you mentor us, if you will, today on, what are some of the keys in order to keep up on the business, to grow your business? What are those things that you could help us understand?
Wow. Well, first of all, I work at ReMax Estate Properties in Los Angeles. We're one of the number one in terms of volume. We do top 5 in the ReMax network for volume.
Wow.
About 650 agents and 16 offices. I was actually brought on in 2015 after working as a speaker and a trainer with Tom Ferry.
Oh, yeah.
And before that, I worked with athletes and executives out of Manhattan Beach, California. But my background is really eclectic. But, what I learned about this industry and being, around some really great people, some top producers and top offices, is we're all very new at technology, and also the discussion of how we can promote ourselves or build our brands. That is a very young discussion in the real estate industry. It's only starting to happen right now. So I think people are really seeking something bigger than what they know right now, and growing even exponentially what we were doing even just 10 years ago in the coaching and training world. So all the top training systems out there are adapting to this trend.
Yes.
So I really find that to be kind of like the low-lying fruit that I focus on with my mentor, or say my coaching, and I build out systems to help agents and brokers understand that.
Well, so you hit some hot buttons that are really now and going to be for a long time: technology, but then also those systems, and to do those systems. And I know that you have a process for any of us to join you with this. And so could you tell us a little about its join at colinconnect.com, and tell us a little about, this is a fully technology enabled way for apps and ideas, and really you're at the cutting edge of technology and systems. So can you help us understand that and what you do with that?
Well, as you know, Dr. Hank, a really big thing that people are grasping today is, how do we tell our story? How do we show who we are as individuals, even more important to what we are in our business. And I think if we're going to get to know our industry better, we have to know who the human being is that we're working with. And a lot of what was expressed at the ReMax R4 this year was really hitting the nail on the head. Is like, what is our industry and where is it going? And it really boils down to the individual and who they are, what their background is. Actually, the number one source of investor, or you could say client out there in lead generation, is coming from our friends. It's not even necessarily someone in our database. It's specifically our friends refer us more than any other lead source. So I think through us adapting, being more relatable is really the key. And regardless of our experience is still very important. But on the lead source and the relevance of how we adapt or relate to each other and do business with each other always boils down to the likability of the person. So we're working with video, we're working with new systems to get our word out there, to really accentuate who we are. And I think that's true of any brand, whether you're with EXP or Keller Williams or any of the big companies out there that are growing. It's about giving our story and sharing that, because ultimately it's not that the company that we work for, it's the human being.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so I love that. You touch my heart there. And I know our viewers also that, this is really what our industry is. It's about human beings and serving human beings, helping them, and to having that expertise. And at the same time, the way for them to find us, if you will, is like you say, friends, but also that even if you're friends with them, your presence on the social media, the way that you are, it reflects who you are, whether it's an accurate reflection or not. And I've seen, agents where they've lost business, they're probably a better agent, but the other person just shined a little bit better. So again, I want to get into that and so it's join, and I want to actually spell out for everybody, it's join, and this is a free service. And if you want to be on the leading edge in real estate, on systems with technology, this is the place to go. That Colin is the guy, if you will. And so it's join at Colin, and that's COLIN, connect.com. And you like that I spelled your name right, huh?
Yeah, and I was at first, it's kind of a tongue twister by itself, but just who has their name spelled with 2 L's or 1 L,
Yeah,
and
right.
it has it pronounced 2 different ways. So,
Well, that's great. And so again, it's join at colinconnect.com, and it's COLIN. And so can you tell us a little about what you're doing with all that? Because it's taking us to a whole new level now. And you're the guy taking us. You're brilliant, and you're able to, you have the facility and the background and the support in order to take us there. And so what does that do? Like, if I go there, what am I going to get?
Well, I think with traditional cinema, gosh, you're saying you have so many flattering things. And Dr. Hank, you're an amazing person, by the way. Thank you for letting me expressing this today.
Yeah.
I think the number one thing or takeaway that I want people to experience is that number one, they feel a place where they're responded to, and they feel like that they're in a community of people that really understand who they are, what their business is about. And what is the best way to do that? Well, I really find that regardless of whether we're in front of people in person or not, that we should still be able to connect with them in a way that's fundamental to who they are in their business and who they are as a person. And so relating agents and brokers to each other, what is their story? So this is like a one-stop shop place where we can receive that training, how to express ourselves, because as we know, a lot of people are shy when it comes to expression. So we have just like basic sales 101 type of training, marketing, which is, I would say, like the next level of training. And then the international, which is like, how to relate to people that are in other countries, or how to relate to how to do business in other countries, or find projects and things like that.
Yes.
So this is like that type of system, which gives us the confidence that we can tell our story and be very successful after we've learned those tools and how to develop ourselves in that arena.
Yes, yes. And, and this really helps to awaken us. And just a reminder of my audience, take notes, guys. This is, this is where we're going in the future. And we have to think about what will be. And this is going to help us to get where we are. So make sure you take notes. But on this international, because of technology, the world just got smaller. And because of that, we're able to do, I've helped agents where they just said they had a thought in their mind, I want to be an international agent. And within 9 months, they were an international agent. And so, it's a matter of that desire and then all the opportunity out there. So can you help us a little about international? And I think maybe one of the first thoughts would be, people think, well, they have a different language than I do. And so can you help us really understand, is that really true? Or, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I travel a lot. Actually, I have family that lives overseas in Europe.
Wow.
And ever since I was young, I've always imagined what it'd be like to actually do business in another country.
Yeah.
What do I have to learn? Is it really super complicated to do a transaction? And what I'm realizing more and more from our friends from around the world is that there's business being done internationally all the time. It's just not a phenomenon we see so much in North America, but it's definitely a phenomenon that's happening. As in the US and Canada, we have the MLS. The MLS is like our like one-stop shop, if you will. We can tap into these systems. Where overseas, they depend fully on portals or word of mouth brokerage listings. So I think understanding just those dynamics, or if like right here, I have this great project and I'm plugging it right now because I don't know if you can see it, but everything about this project represents Tesla in homes and how do we power homes with Tesla green technology. Wow. And this is a company that I partnered with because they are international, they're going global, and they have a vision. They're actually the founder, Philippe, he's actually from Lebanon. So his philosophy is how do we take this and license this technology in other countries? So when I see companies that are doing things that are cutting edge or technologically advanced, I want people in my network that is international, let's just say 192 countries and territories, that everybody should be able to grasp how they can work together, regardless of their language, regardless of their culture. And then we actually can tap into the tools so we can get the deals done, of course, and be relevant in the eyes of consumers in other countries or projects in other countries. Wow. Sometimes it's as easy as just, putting something on the message board that says, I'm interested in, doing business in Greece, let's say. The Chinese are buying up, thousands of properties in Greece because of the golden visa. Yeah. But what it would take for an American or an expatriate, someone who wants to retire in one of these beautiful countries. Right. Ecuador is another prime example. Lots of Americans are going there. But how do we know about this? These are the reports that we're putting out. So the relevance of the content and the guidance, the mentorship or the training, all of this is going to go into this system. So all you have to do is sign up and you can learn more about how that works. And we're going to help you with that.
Oh my God, that is just incredible. So to go global, basically you're the man, and here's the portal, if you will, in order to do it under that join at Colin Connect. So let's go from the global. And I think one more comment I have is, on that is the language barrier that, I travel the world also, and that most countries require their second language to be English. And so we're actually in a very good situation as far as pretty much anywhere I go, I can find somebody that speaks English. And so, and their cultures are different, and, to take some time, but really, when we talk about those cultures, if you're just polite and kind to other people, it doesn't matter. It's really just this human element, and something that you were talking earlier about the human element. And so then, if we can, I'd like to now kind of skinny this down a little bit more into, and let's go to a whole new arena, and that is a sports star. I think that in relocation services, and that you were in, and right now you were talking before the show about how there's a lot of activity in LA and Vegas, and because of that you're doing that. Can you share with us just a couple of juicy stories about, I don't know, some sports stars
Sure.
or whatever?
Well, you guys, I mean, athletes are just like anyone else.
There you go.
They just live a very, like, I guess you could say, a life in the limelight. A lot of them do. And then there are some athletes that aren't necessarily in the limelight, but they play for teams. It's a very demanding schedule. It's both physically demanding and emotionally demanding, because usually the athlete themselves is busy, and the wife or the family member, or the mom or whoever it is handling a bulk of the business and the travel and everything else. Plus you have the personnel on the team. It's a huge dynamic. And as, like, you could say, mission control for a lot of these guys moving around the country. I learned a lot back in 2008 to 2013 about what it takes to run one of these operations, and to see, when people travel from city to city, what they go through and what they really need for services. So think of it like a concierge program, where if I was to relocate, I have everything from the car transportation to the meals on wheels, everything that they would need that is sort of like catering to that 5-star type clientele. But you don't want these people to be like high and dry at the end of the day and saying, hey, I paid for all these 5-star services and it's super expensive. So, like, we're always trying to get the best deals, always trying to get the best packages together, so they don't get screwed. Because oftentimes people hear athlete and they think buku bucks, we're going to milk these guys dry. So we kind of protect them from, the scamming that's going on around the industry. And you probably hear all the time, like, this person was caught in a scam and lost millions of dollars. So we would rather them to turn that scam into a success story. So I learned just through these relationships that it's so important to show people your value, show people what you can bring to the table, whether you're working with athletes or you're just working with a mom and pop, someone who just has like a drive to have the kind of move that's successful. So, and I think athletes appreciate that too, because they don't want to be put up on a pedestal. They would rather just blend in with the crowd.
Yeah. Well, you brought up a couple of points, and the reason why I think it's good for all of us is with the mindset. I'm a mental scientist. I'm a head doctor, and so and I help people to think differently. And because, like, people, for example, are like $1 million house. I've never sold those. I can't do that. And what's your highest, by the way, home that you've been engaged with?
Well, there was a house in Laguna Beach that I was associated with, which actually sold via auction. So we actually ran auctions as well, private auctions.
Wow.
Ran our own marketing. It was over $100,000 in private funded marketing. And that property sold for $14 million, right on the water. And it was a historic UNESCO site.
Wow.
Was originally listed for $20 million, but they couldn't get that. So when it kind of expired out, we partnered with a local agent, and we ended up being able to sell it for a really high sticker price. But right now I'm associated with big projects where you have $1 million, like, say, between $1.8 and $4 million properties that are totally green, renewable energy. And they're selling these like in limited quantity right now. So if the whole project sells out, it could be like a $250 million sticker that I'm associated with. So I kind of look at it like this, Dr. Hank, is, it's the value of the service. It always comes down to that. But when it comes to the excitement, if you're talking about athletes, like working with guys who play for the Lakers, we're playing with Shaq and Kobe now, are like giving back to the community. Like, it's through these stories that, like, really compels me to want to be in this industry, not so much for the flash and glitter, but really for the long term. And I think that through our branding, like, I think people kind of get enamored with the glitz and the glam of it. But really, at the end of the day, it's not so much about selling to a high profile. It's about really selling to the right person. And sometimes it might be an athlete, or it might be a famous CEO of an organization. So through those experiences, I've really learned a lot, and I'm really helping people focus on what's really important, which is just getting the fundamentals down and really understanding that.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. And so you had a couple of just great points as far as this mindset is concerned, that these people are just regular people, you know, that and for you to get to just know them and to help them understand what they want, for them to understand you, and that, you know, and they aren't, this isn't about ripping them off or whatever. It's really caring for people. And so it doesn't matter where they are. And since it takes the same amount of effort, if you will, or expertise to do, you know, a $14 million home, or, you know, a $200,000 home, that we might as well do the higher end home. And
Yeah.
so,
I mean, it's a lot more work and takes more time, but it's definitely, the payoff is pretty big.
yeah, that's great. So, in the couple minutes that we have remaining, I'd like to talk about two more points, and that is
Sure.
on mentoring your team. And so, like, can you give us what's really some of the hot buttons right now that you're seeing this year? You had mentioned to me before the show about how, you know, like, the market is slowing down a little in LA, and prices are kind of, you know, going down a little. But what do we need to know in 2019? What are you mentoring your team about that is really helpful for them to have that cutting edge to get to the next level?
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this, but actually I focus a lot on energy efficient homes and how that increases value. And as you know, there have been mandates by our state in California that we're actually increasing the bar so that all homes and all commercial facilities have new energy standards. And that's going to dramatically shift the way we do contracting to how we sell properties. And a lot of agents are in the dark ages when it comes to this. So we are kind of creating like an educational resource for investors who are thinking about getting in and doing these repairs, and showing them the value of putting in a better insulation, how to look at solar and implement that into your listing plan. Because a house that you can showcase on the MLS with these upgrades is considered more valuable than granite countertops or this or that. So it's through this type of education to the public that we're actually reaching out to right now. I have about a seminar a week that I'm putting on for our neighbors, and these called opportunity zones. And opportunity zones, lots of rebates from the state, from the government, from federal government as well. And those deals are going away. So we're really focused on bringing value that way. So that's how we're bringing value. So when I'm mentoring the team, I'm saying, let's focus on that, because there are thousands of people that want to sell their homes this year. And we have to attack that particular type of consumer because it's easy for us.
I just love that. Talk about cutting edge, and, you know, staying on top of where your governments or whatever state you're in, be aware of what's going on with the state, the different regulations, and that take advantage of that. That every change, you know, a lot of people don't like change, but the fact is every change in it possesses this miraculous opportunity for us. And it's about, you know, taking advantage of that opportunity. And so that's great on mentoring. Then can you give us one also key point on sales systems, on what are your, where should we be thinking and headed as far as systems are concerned?
Well, as you know, you can get overwhelmed really quick when it comes to systems. And if we just simplified it to what is it that we're trying to do in our business, and then having the right, I guess you could say, consultation to help you sort of feed the right type of activities. So if I need a CRM, contact relationship management program, which CRM is going to be right for me? Or what lead generation tool, if you will. So sometimes you can get kind of the one-stop shop type service. Sometimes it's just about email marketing, sometimes about this or that. But when it comes to systems, it's kind of a complicated topic because it really depends on the individual and your business. But there are several that we recommend. And that's also going to be on the platform. So when you take the course, you're going to learn about that. But I can say one thing. If I'm, let's say, I have this huge database, but I'm using Outlook, we need to talk, you know? That's as simple as it gets.
I love that. That's just great.
I mean, think about it, right? I mean, we are in this era where these tools are relatively inexpensive, and we can more than 100x our business just by implementing them.
Yeah. So on the email system that we need to. So you're recommending. Hey, can I infer by that that you're recommending Gmail? Is that right? As far as
Well, the thing is, most people have a Gmail account, which is the
right.
interesting thing is how easy is it for a third party program, which creates efficiencies with email, to integrate Gmail? And many of them do. In fact, if you've ever heard of BombBomb, which is another program that we have,
Yeah.
I actually run a training how to integrate BombBomb and actually how to use BombBomb and make money from video marketing. So these
Wow.
are like the simple ways that we can just quickly turn on the faucet and start making money with these tools.
Woo, baby, we love that. So again, and that would be a join at colinconnect.com that
That's
we
right.
can get that information. So
Yeah.
basically, we're there. The other last thing, as far as how to get a hold of you, that I know you have a rockin' Instagram account, and can you share with us your Instagram account and how to, because you're going to share on that, you can learn some of this as well. Is that correct?
Well, with like all the social media platforms, Instagram is something I've kind of been focused on recently because we're telling more stories. We're getting kind of funneling people into understanding the ideology of using video in your Instagram. So I actually teach a course on doing a 1-minute Instagram video. And with that particular video, you're going to get like the highlight reel of who you are, what you represent, and telling that story so people can want to tap into your website or want to tap into that extra service. So I'm just about to actually post my new website on that.
Okay.
More information. You can still go to colinconnect.com, but in the meantime, it's kind of a good blueprint as an agent, how you want to kind of promote who you are and what you represent in your marketplace.
Okay, so where would I go for Instagram? What is it that?
I have my handle in Instagram. My ID is Colin Lotus, Lotus, and that's one my name. So COLIN LOTUS.
Okay.
Understand? Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And Instagram, and then just for those that a report just came out on Instagram about Instagram, that first of all, for all of us to know that millennials are the #1 buyers in America right now. And so that's the age from about 20 to 35. And the most users on all the social media in that age group are on Instagram. And so again, if you want to stay ahead, and the funny thing was that they said that there's only 1% of the users that in Instagram that are over 60 years old, and so I figure I'm that 1%.
Yeah, gotta go for it. What I love about Dr. Hank, what I love about what you represent is that you are all about spreading great information and kind of being like kind of on the spiritually with what we're doing in our industry. And if we can bring that energy, and you guys, I mean, the demographic that has the most wisdom and the most insight, you guys can be spreading, this amazing philosophy, this story that you guys have because of all that experience. And you have a medium that's right there in front of you. So I work with a lot of baby boomers. In fact, at my company, over 75% of our agents are baby boomers, or actually even getting past baby boomer age.
Yeah.
So we have a wide array of agents that work here at ReMax Properties. But this is a great tool, and you don't have to be a millennial to use it. In fact, you're better off if you're not a millennial.
That's great. I love that. And for us to share the wisdom, and I love on how, and I receive your love that you just gave me, and how to be able to just spread this good news. It's really about being authentic, and then the spirituality proponent. And that leads me to our last thing, and probably really most important to probably both of us, is your philanthropic endeavors and how you give back to the community. And so I want to put you on the spot, if you will, because I know you don't really like, talking about all the good things that you do for the world. But would you share with us, just as an inspiration on the leadership role, on how this idea about service and giving back to the community and to the world, and can you share a few of the things that you're doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I really learned that through the real estate industry because I noticed all these agents that were giving back. And then also, how do we tell that story? How do we show what we're up to? And I still feel like even I have like a long way to develop that muscle of like contributing what I do on the side and kind of getting into that discussion. But really what I started through real estate and just helping people sell their properties and really making a turning point in their life is that how do we see our lives and how we can shift our communities. So I do a lot with communities, business owners, nonprofits. How do we link those community activities with the charitable cause? So we've done everything from blood drives with Children's Miracle Network, which is a great foundation, and set up a lot with, we have it a lot with our ReMax family, but I know that it's very prevalent, especially here in LA with children's hospitals. And we have some really great leaders in that capacity. Also, these big events that are going on that are really about helping the youth, the younger generation, come up with their, so that they have a voice. And I back up youth organizations because the youth are the future, and we have to preserve who they are and what they represent, because, you know, we're living in this era of abundance. So we want to say, well, you know, whether we're in a downturn or wherever the market status is, we want to make sure the youth are strong and that they're paying attention to keeping things positive and supporting one another. So part of those causes as well, which is, there was a big event last year called the Lions of Justice Festival. And man, I got fully behind that. And I actually could let you know about that as well. It's a really great cause.
Yeah, that's just awesome. And Colin, that I know that, you know, you advise the boards of these communities and these different foundations, and because of your expertise, your background, and really your brilliance, you know, on that. So I thank you for what you've done and, you know, give it back to the world. And that's just awesome. And for all of us to recognize that, hey, this is what it's about. And Colin, you just said it beautifully on, we're living in an era of abundance. And so a lot of us have, you know, some things on, oh, we don't have this or we don't have that we have lots. You know, we have running water, just start with running water and electricity. And that's more than, you know, through the ages that they have had, and then automobiles and planes. And I mean, the list goes on, and abundance is ours. And it's just a matter of the mindset. And for all of us now, as we leave, and before I do say goodbye, is there anything else you'd like to leave us with, Colin, before we say goodbye?
Well, definitely stay tuned for my network connection program, and we're actually affiliating potentially. This is actually confidential, but I'm going to share it with you, just a sanitized version. Actually, there's a technology company that's potentially white labeling their app with us so that we can have more interaction, spread the information faster. So if you actually have like a platform, you're a coach, or you want to have a speaking platform of any sort, we want to bring your like your training or your expertise into account and almost treat it like our private TED Talk. So we're giving you that ability and those tools. And so stay tuned with this website, theColinConnect.com, and we'll be launching this. And I strongly urge you to email me at join@colinconnect.com. Just send me a quick question. It is Colin with one L. That's right.
Okay, fantastic. Well, with that, Colin, we thank you so much for being with us today. And for all of us, that again, it's about what will be. It's not about what is. It's about what will be. And Colin is one of the main people in America that could take you to that next step, and to global, to technology, to systems. And he basically has it all for you. And all you need to do is act upon it. And it's not about just doing stuff. Is if we keep on doing, we get do. What we want to do is we want to have inspired action. And this is inspired action to get with Colin, and then also to think about, hey, who can you help in the community, you know, this year, this week, today, that who can you go out and be able to uplift, and especially the children, because they're that next generation that's coming to us. So with that, Colin, we thank you so much. And
thank you so much, Dr. Hank.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Blessings. Namaste. And to all of you, that wishing you all the best, and know that you are a brilliant creator, and that all you need to do is think it and you can have it. All my love, Dr. Hank.
Thank you so much.